Hey you guys, I'm Phil Town from Rule Number One Investing, and today I want to tell you how to use shareholder letters to determine if the CEO of a company is honest or if they're full of it. Management is one of the 4 M's of Rule 1 investing, and evaluating a company's management to ensure that they are trustworthy and capable of leading the company forward is an essential step before you invest in a company. Warren Buffett says he would like these guys or these ladies to be in-laws level of confidence in them. In-laws, like I want you to marry my daughter. That kind of confidence. All right, now with that said, one of the best resources you have available to evaluate a company's management is the letters they send out to their shareholders. I recently had a talk on my podcast, Invested, with Laura Rittenhouse, who's my dear friend. We talked about this subject and I wanted to share what I learned from her here. Now let's talk about the top 4 things you should look for in shareholder letters to determine if a company has leadership that make it worth investing in. This is really important. This is where you see issues of integrity. So first, you can use shareholder letters to identify a company's culture. An established, really good culture, a beneficial culture, is a key ingredient in a company's recipe for success. And it's up to the company's management to define and set the tone for that culture. Ideally, a company's culture should come through in everything that the management produces, including the shareholder letter. And once you're able to determine an underlying theme or tone or outlook in the letter that management sends out, then be on the lookout for changes to that tone. Changes to a company's culture could spell bad news or maybe good news for investors, depending on what those changes are. So that means that you're going to start reading these letters over time, and the beauty is they're available usually on the company website back many years. Second, the company management should be direct, open, and honest. We want people that we're putting our money with who have integrity. Over everything, the most important thing to look for in a shareholder letter is management that is direct and honest with their shareholders. The prototype of a shareholder letter is written every year by Warren Buffett himself. Those letters that he writes at Berkshire Hathaway are available going all the way back to 1972. So you've got something like, 40 years of letters, one a year, that are the perfect icon for what we want to see in a CEO letter. Shareholder letters are supposed to be an honest evaluation of both the positive and the negative news surrounding a company. What we want to see is enough information to know that we can figure out the value of the business. But sometimes, way too often, dishonest management may use their shareholder letter as a sales pitch more than an honest evaluation. They'll gloss over bad news. They'll fill the letter with fluff and a lot of BS designed to make the company look appealing. In the end, though, the leaders who are dishonest with their shareholders are likely to be dishonest in other areas as well, and their companies are best avoided. So shareholder letters can give you a clue if these people are willing to come forth and explain that there were problems and they're dealing with them. If you don't see problems in a shareholder letter, I would really throw up a red flag. Third, it's important to watch for warning signs. Aside from looking for management that treats a shareholder letter like a sales pitch, there are several other warning signs that you need to be on the lookout for. All right, the first of these warning signs is writing that's vague or unauthentic. If a shareholder letter reads in such a way that it seems as if management is just kind of going through the motions, if what they're showing you is that they're really not invested enough in their shareholder letter to just produce a letter that's helpful and meaningful and helps explain the company to the shareholder or to the owners, then what's going on in their heads? The same goes for shareholder letters that are full of cliches. These things sound really great, but they don't have much meaning. Here's a few of them. Phrases like, "The future is bright," "Our employees are our greatest asset." What a bunch of hacked language that is. These are overused, they lack substance, they mean nothing, and once again they display that the company's management are kind of bozos. They're kind of just going through the motions in their shareholder letter, which means to me, they might be hiding something that they're afraid could leak out if they start to be coming forward with any kind of real information. That's a little scary, right? They're keeping secrets from the owners. And believe me, they will do it. And I've found that out the hard way. And I don't want you guys to find it out that way in the future. Fourth, look for management with humility. Well, good luck with that one. Humility is an incredibly important quality for leaders of the company to have. Now, I'm going to say this with a little bit of a caveat. There are occasionally leaders out there who would not be necessarily considered to have a great deal of personal humility. We'll talk about the exceptions to the rule, right? Management, in my view, need to be able to acknowledge mistakes. They need to be able to learn from them going forward. And here's the thing, if pride is keeping companies' management from acknowledging and from learning from their mistakes, chances are they're just going to repeat those same mistakes again in the future. Now, for the handful of geniuses, and I use that word, in its true meaning, who are not necessarily humble people, and I'm thinking here particularly of a guy like Steve Jobs, who I worked with. Steve, I don't think anybody's ever described him as humble, but I'm telling you, the guy made up for it with the passion that he had and his deep, abiding honesty in saying this is crap and this is great, and moving the company forward on that basis. So you got to watch out and just categorizing everything across the board. There are amazing leaders out there who are not necessarily humble. What we're looking for is that they're willing to be honest. Now look for management also that's willing to accept responsibility for mistakes and put it in their shareholder letter. Discuss what went wrong, explain how they plan to do better going forward. Again, Buffett is the prototype. I've seen him write in his letter, we would have made much more money except for the bonehead move I made doing this. The willingness to acknowledge mistakes in a shareholder letter is a great sign that company's management has a couple of things: enough confidence in their abilities to straighten things out, and enough humility to lead the company in the best way possible without pride getting in the way. Now, there's a lot of great examples of shareholder letters that highlight what it looks like when management gets it right. Some of the best examples of shareholder letters come from, often people who found the company. I'm thinking, for example, like John Mackey at Whole Foods wrote fantastically honest shareholder letters. Of course, the icon, as I've been saying all along, is Warren Buffett. Now, Buffett is the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. This is his baby. He has all of his money invested. When he's talking about, having to use a computer to manage his stock portfolio, and Buffett said, yeah, well, I only have one stock, Berkshire Hathaway. So Buffett has penned, I don't know, it must have been pretty close to 45 letters now over the decades. And each of these letters kind of displays a very honest approach that you want to find in a shareholder letter. So you can look on these at the website, berkshirehathaway.com. Now, I'll tell you what, use those as a prototype, but it's such a high bar, you're almost never going to see almost anybody else putting out that kind of information on their shareholder letter. But still use it to kind of get an idea of what it looks like when a CEO is taking responsibility for errors. And when you look at your shareholder letters, watch and look at them over a long period of time. Go back 5 to 10 years and read those letters. They're usually only a couple pages long. Of course, Buffett's are like 85 pages. But read them all going forward, and you can see if the change in tone happens. You can see if they're avoiding, you can see if they're using cliches. You can see if they're humble. You can see if they're passionate. Now, I'd love to hear from you guys. Are you reading shareholder letters before you invest in a stock? Do you actually do your homework? And are they helpful? What do you think? Leave a comment below with your answer, and I'll be sure to follow up with you. And thanks for watching. Now go play. If you enjoyed this video and you feel it was valuable in teaching you more about how to evaluate company management through the shareholder letter, hit the like button and please share this video with your friends. And if you want more investing content, subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click on the button on the screen for a free gift. Thanks again for watching.